Good morning, Patriots. Boy, oh boy. Another day, another dollar. Well, Tom Homan, as you know, puts anti-ICE activists on notice. And is the government shutdown averted? I feel like this is almost turning into a monthly thing at this point, but we're going to make sure we cover that news for you. And then we also have news coming out of California with a bunch of stuff. So we have this here for you. Let's just jump right freaking into it, right? The White House and Senate Democrats say they've reached a deal to avert a government shutdown as of today. The deal would fund most government departments. We'll get a few in there. The Homeland Security through a continuing resolution that expires after 2 weeks. Wow. Ooh. Hey, we'll keep you guys going for 14 days. Yeah, I think Homeland Security, DHS might be important, but they call us idiots, you guys. In those 2 weeks, lawmakers are expected to negotiate over reforms to immigration and customs enforcement. President Trump took to Truth Social on Thursday evening saying, quote, "I am working hard with Congress to ensure that we are able to fully fund the government without delay." Well, that'd be nice. I mean, this is one thing Karine Jean-Pierre did have correct, that it is the responsibility of Congress, who has the keys to the purse, to pay the bills, get the things done. She was correct in doing it and saying it, but it's also a fact, I think at this point, objective truth, that Congress is a bunch of idiots. If you guys looked at the debt clock, we're $38 trillion. We're about to get into 39, 3 and a 9 trillion dollars in debt. And I always find it awkward that when I talk to people, and I think I know why, it doesn't really faze them. It's almost like, okay, 39 trillion. I think it's because it's a number that's you can't even fathom. It's such a large number that it doesn't even make sense. And here we are, kicking the can down the road. Just lovely. That will never come back to bite us. Yeah, that's never going to be an issue, is it, folks? I'm hoping it ain't an issue in our lifetime, let me tell you. I hope it's not an issue when I'm alive. It could be an issue when I'm 6 feet in the ground. How about that? Yeah, I heard. Kenneth. Oh, we'll get there, buddy. We'll get there. I am working hard with Congress, okay? So that's great. He went on to say that he hopes both Republicans and Democrats will give a very much needed bipartisan yes vote. The deal hit a snag on Thursday night as Senator Lindsey Graham reportedly blocked a vote over a House-passed provision undoing a law that allows senators to receive cash payouts if they had their phone records seized by former special counsel Jack Smith. Kind of interesting. So you got that there for you. We'll see if it's actually averted. We'll see if the government can figure it out. But it is pretty bonkers, right? Just how dumb the people are in Congress. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody. That'd be crazy. But I think one of the things that would fix Congress, and I'm very hesitant to say this, I think term limits would fix it somewhat. It would sure and heck slow it down. Slow it down big time, because you got to learn all the rules, how things function, right? And by the time you really got a good grasp of things, like, oh, well, I'm gone. Yeah, my term's up. See you later, guys. See you later, boys. All righty, well, there you go. Government shutdown again. Isn't that fun? Almost 39. I think we're like, maybe somebody could throw in the chat. I think we're like 38.7 trillion. No, not 30. Yeah, $38.7 trillion in debt. Folks, just so you know, only God, I want to say 6 years ago, maybe, where we were at like 20 trillion or something like that. Might be getting that wrong. It wasn't that long ago that we were really and we thought that was high. Yeah. All right. Well, we got Tom Homan coming in, getting stuff done. Tom Homan is putting anti-ICE activists on notice, and they will be held accountable for obstructing law enforcement. Really? Just come in. Everybody get in here. Get in here really quick. Hold on. Is my light on? Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Settle down. There we go. We got this here. Well, I want to make sure your eyes see it too. Because if this doesn't happen, Tom Homan, okay, everybody settle down, get it together. Tom Homan overpromises and underdelivers. I'm sorry to say it, but he does. I like the guy. You could like people and go, okay, man, come on. Come on here, buddy. Yeah, you said a lot of stuff was going to be happening, and it wasn't. Hey, Punisher. It's good to see you. Look, this is what he said. You all saw it with your own eyes. Borders are Tom Homan is putting anti-ICE activists, these psychos yelling at Teslas and going, at cars going by, those people that are sticking their hand in their booty and wiping it on cars. You all remember that? Everybody remember that? Well, he's putting them on notice that they will be held accountable for what? What are they going to be held accountable for? Obstructing law enforcement. I will believe it when I see it, Tom. In the same way, I was told there was going to be millions of illegals being deported. Like you're going to see nothing but these Boeing 747s flying across the sky, right? And you're going to be waving bye to them from your house, like every minute. Just, adios, sayonara, you know. I don't see that. I see a lot of people leaving. Look, I'm happy. That's great. But not to the capacity of how you're talking it up, sir. I like Tom. It doesn't mean I can't be a little frustrated with things that are being handled. Is the border secure, though? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very secure. Very, very beautiful. The wall is still, I think, maybe being built. I haven't looked in a while. But you know what? It's secure. Then Homan also made it clear. Well, first we gotta go back here. My bad. I'm jumping ahead. I got a little bit too excited with my Trump impression. Yes, I'm getting to Don. I will get to Don Lemon. You gotta let people come in. You gotta let things sizzle a little bit. People are still waking up. Okay, everybody settle down. And he seemed to have a twofold message. Oh, here we go. First, to make it clear that law and order are going to be restored. You heard it here first. He pledged to remain on the ground until the problem's gone. You have a lot of people to arrest there, buddy. A lot of people, Tom. I hope you're going to be enjoying Minnesota for a while there, buddy. Then Homan also made it clear that despite the bad press coming from the shooting deaths of anti-ICE activists, he's not going to be deterred from investigating activist networks. Nor should you. Do you know how many thousands upon thousands of people that are being arrested by ICE? I think Minnesota ICE arrests only account for like 1.6% of all ICE arrests. That's the hilarious thing. These people are out there protesting in the cold about ICE. Bro, they're making arrests. Almost half of all arrests by ICE right now, by the way, are California, Texas, and Florida. It's in like the high 40 percentile of all arrests. Only like 1% of ICE arrests are in Minnesota, and these people are losing it. They're dumb. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not saying they're dumb about everything, but a lot of stuff they are. Get out of my state. They're ruining it. It's like, nah, I think we know who's ruining your state. I know you might not know, but I know what we know who's ruining your state. It's like the people in California, right? Get out of California. You don't belong here, you freaking pig. You know? You're ruining my state. It's like, no. No. I think you know that you think you know who might be ruining the state, and you think it's the Orange Cheeto man, meaning Donald Trump, right? You think it's this guy, right? They think it's this guy right here. They think it's this guy that's ruining the state of California is who they think it is. No. No, it's not. It is, it's Gavin. It's Gavin and Democrats. It has been for a long time. So Tom Homan's going to be there. Oh, he also said this. Here we go. Meanwhile, Minnesota Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar, oh boy, is entering the race for governor. All right. She first filed papers a week ago, but the incredibly bad optics of the chaos on the ground in Minnesota again. The city was ground zero for Black Lives Matter unrest in 2020. Oh, do you mean we're seeing the same thing, the same psyop, the same paid protesting crap that we saw during Black Lives Matter? Yes, we are. Well, it gives Klobuchar a chance to showcase her as a moderate. Oh, who's going to restore order? Sure. She's going to figure things out just like Ma'am Donnie's doing. You got to love it. I really do. I'll get to the government contracting exposed. You guys are psyching out, freaking out over Don Lemon stuff. So we're going to cover it. You know, you got to pander to the audience every now and then. Well, Don Lemon. Here we go. Everybody settle down. Okay. I know you want it. You got to feed the people what they want. You got to indulge them. Here we go. Don Lemon arrested over Minnesota church protest rule. Matter of fact, why don't we just make this our title? There we go. All right. Hopefully that doesn't screw things up. The former CNN host faces federal charges, including conspiracy against rights and a FACE action violation for allegedly participating in an anti-ICE protest that stormed City's church in St. Paul on January 18th. Now, what's weird is I also don't see the KKK Act or whatever that thing was called in here that we covered, like 2 weeks ago. Protesters chanted for justice. I don't know. There's some sort of irony in that they stormed a church. I mean, folks, a lot of these hardcore lefties are not like Christian or Jewish. Okay. I love Judeo-Christian values. I'm a Christian. I got no problem with the Jews whatsoever. And I'm not being a smart ass or nothing. I really don't. I don't see why there's all these anti-Semites. I really, really don't get it, to be honest. And I'm being as serious as a heart attack. I don't get it, but whatever. There is a sense of irony here about this whole thing that Donald Trump has gotten lefties to go to church. I mean, think about that. They probably used to say, there's no damn way that I'm ever going to go to church. And Donald Trump got them back to church. That's crazy. Not just that, but these lefties are also starting to conceal and carry, like we saw with Alex Preddy. He has now gotten the left to advocate for Second Amendment. I mean, remarkable. What a 4D chess move by Donald Trump. And I'm not even sure that he was playing that hand in the first place. It was just one of those things where you let the game work, you know? You let where the chips may fall. And because he's a freaking genius, he was making moves that he didn't even know were moves. So shout out to Trump. Freaking legend. Well, Lemon's attorney calls it an attack on journalism. Remember Barack Obama was putting away journalists? Yeah. Remember when Joe Biden blacklisted a black guy from Africa? See, it would have been racist if Donald Trump blacklisted a black guy from Africa, a journalist that literally journalizes, that's even a word, about Africa. Yeah, Simon. Yes, you have it right. His name is Simon. Yes, sir. But he's not racist. Even though, if you remember, Kamala Harris called Joe Biden a racist. And she was willing to work with a racist. Not my words. That was her words. I would never lie. So it's an attack on journalism. While his team plans to fight the charges amid broader clashes over protests, press freedoms, and religious access. Gotcha. Well, here he is. Breaking. Don Lemon has been arrested for citing City's church in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's facing conspiracy against rights charges. Geez, and violations of the FACE Act. Uh-oh. Wow. You know what's crazy, though? And this part, can I push back? I always like to play devil's advocate. This isn't really devil's advocate. It's just me kind of frustrated. Is this partly political? I mean, absolutely. But the frustrating thing is, you guys, Don Lemon is getting arrested for doing this, right? Folks, what the hell about all these other activists assaulting federal officers every day? Impeding investigations every day. I know we just covered the news story where Tom Homan, by the way, if you're just joining us, Tom Homan says those people are going to be done, right? Those people are going to be held accountable. He says it right here in the first sentence. Yes, yes, yes. So it's a little frustrating. Look, that I'm not arguing with what's happening here, but it's like, can we figure out the throwing snow? If you so much as spit on a federal officer, arrested. If you so much as throw a snowball at a police officer, arrested. If your pitch of a whistle is too close to his ear where it could rupture his eardrum, arrested. That's what I want. And I'm sure all of you want that too. I'm tired of this crap, man. I want some law and order around here. Why are we normies putting up with these psychos running around? Do you want to know why we didn't have this when we were all kids? 90s, early 2000s. They were all in penitentiaries, man. It's sad, but at least they'll be calm. You can give them TV. I mean, entertainment's never been better. You can put on, all this like woke stuff for them that's somewhere in a back catalog that you have to fish for nowadays because Donald Trump's in office. Thank God that we're figuring it out. I don't know. They weren't running around like they are nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's not normal to scream at driving car. It's not even normal, you guys, going after cars that you think might be ICE. Like, I mean, I like that most of us in the chat are normies. I've seen some of the stuff you guys say, a little bit of psycho some of the times, but that's okay. So am I. Anybody in here, have you ever gone out and stuck your hand in your booty and wiped your caca on a car before? Now, maybe you have and you're not proud of it, so you don't want to expose yourself. But I'd imagine there's not a single soul in here. I don't even think there's a single soul in here that's ever stood on a curb and started going, yeah, I hate you, ICE. I don't think anybody's ever stood on a curb and started yelling at driving cars going by, just assuming that they might be ICE. I don't think there's a single soul in here. Again, if you didn't know, these lefties, like 6 months ago, right, when the whole Elon Tesla thing was going about and they were burning down Tesla dealerships, and I saw them doing this with my own eyes, by the way. I actually witnessed this in real life, screaming at Cybertrucks going by and Teslas on the street. They were barking at them and acting crazy. And then they were going around because we saw, right, every Tesla and Cybertruck has those cameras that anytime you walk past it has audio and video. And so people, these lefties, were putting their hands in their booty and scooping out a little caca and rubbing it on the vehicle. Dude, I don't care who you are. That is primal, man. That is like you are reaching back to like some sort of DNA that is a low level IQ, because you are getting into some, like I said, prehistoric territory here. I mean, you're getting into some caveman stuff. Your IQ is low. Freaking gross.
When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about...
It's so enriching when a Democrat tries to lecture you on what the Civil Rights Movement was about. It's like, folks, I'm only going to use this analogy because this is what the left loves to do, and it's so exhausting, by the way. It's so exhausting. But this is the only reason I'm going to do it, okay? It would be like a Nazi telling you what World War II and the camps were like lecturing you on what things were like. That's what it'd be like. Democrats didn't vote for civil rights. No. It was the Republicans that did, Don. Yeah. It's just so enriching. And just so you know, this is what the teachers do in the classroom. Oh, well, it was North versus South. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You could play that up all you want. I understand you're a registered Democrat. No, it wasn't. It was the Democratic South. There was some Democrats in the North, and it was the Republican North. It was the Republicans versus Democrats is what it was. You want to know why they don't teach it that way in the school system? Some teachers do. Most do not. Most textbooks nowadays, because they all read this Howard Zinn bullshit. Sorry to cuss, but it's true. And I talk about Howard Zinn in my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, by the way, and how he manipulates the stuff. It's in my book. Get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. They don't want to expose that, right? Because they're Democrats. So they teach. I mean, that's the worst position to be in, I think, in all of education, is to be a Democrat and have to teach history. Because you got to face a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that's rough. The stuff I've seen as a teacher is bonkers. When I was in public education, it was bonkers. I had a friend that I played hockey with that's a U.S. history teacher. I played youth hockey with him. I played a little bit of college hockey with him. This guy teaches U.S. history. And when he says that Hitler was on the right, that's what a lot of these lefties say, that he was on the right. That is true, by the way. Hitler is on the right. Or I guess was now at this point, right? What he doesn't realize is the ideologies were flipped. The dude was a socialist. That's not a right-wing American idea. The ideologies, so our right is their left. But he doesn't get that. Because they don't, if you're in a content that you're teaching in education, you're supposed to have mastered that content. At least to the best of your ability. But the way they teach history nowadays is, we're just going to talk about North and South. Yeah. And then they're going to BS you and tell you there's some big switch. I love this one on TikTok too, by the way. There was no big switch. There wasn't. And if you're going to play that there was, if you're going to indulge that conversation if you want, there was two big switches then. None of which come to the end conclusion that the Democrats want. Because what do the Democrats say? They say, well, all the racists left the Democrat Party and they just conveniently moved to the Republican Party. Nope. That's actually not what happened. I know you want it to, because that would really help fit your narrative that you guys are no longer the evil party and you're the good guys. Nope. That's not what happened. Now, I'm going to point to some parts just off the top of my head in history that maybe you should go look at. But why don't you look at FDR's time? Just holistically. Just look at FDR. And all his stuff he wanted to put forward, and he did. All those, what we call nowadays, which is what's kind of crippling our debt. It's kind of crippling us right now, is called social programs. Yeah, he's the one that did that. Democrats put in these government programs that are now causing us to be a massive amount of debt. 38.6 trillion, but who's counting? Yeah, those Republican blacks that were on the party that actually freed them, right? Yeah, the Republicans freed the blacks. I know some people's minds are blown. They went and got in bed with the Democrats, the racists. Why did they do that? Because they were still trying to catch up and they wanted to take hold of those benefits. They wanted to take hold of those social programs, and they were willing to go against their morality and what ended up happening to them and their ancestors in history, even though it wasn't that far in the past, and they were still dealing with it, right? Because the civil rights stuff didn't happen until later, at least the mega stuff. They got in bed with the racists. So it was Republican blacks that left the Republican Party to join the Democrat Party, the party of slavery and the Klan. Pretty wild thing to do, but they wanted to go after FDR stuff that he implemented. If you want to build the case of where the other switch happened, it would have happened much later in about the 70s or 80s, where you had the Democrats flipping to the Republican Party, but we were able to track who flipped. And I think there wasn't a single Dixiecrat that flipped to the Republican Party. And if they did flip to the Republican Party, none of them were slave owners. It's just a bunch of BS. They have to push this stuff because you have to manipulate history to fit a narrative.
These very kinds of protests. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, is to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortable people uncomfortably, this is the beginning.
Why? Why do you have to make people uncomfortable? I didn't do nothing. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't go to other countries illegally, by the way. I follow their laws. Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, I follow their laws. Crazy. Yeah, I'm not going to other people's countries illegally. No, I'm not. Oh, okay, let's see what this guy says. You guys know this guy. Ed Krassenstein. Don Lemon was just arrested, right? Trump is treading on all American rights. Oh, you just, it's like, he like centralizes everything. What's that word? He like overdoes it. He like, he has to, over sensationalize. There you go. This stuff. Trump is treading all over American rights. It's over. Remember they're shouting World War III like 30 seconds into his whole administration. The economy's gonna go depression. It's never been higher. The economy's literally at a record. It's never been higher. Right? We had like a 5% GDP. Right? Somebody made a great case. Oh, let me find this for you. I gotta show you this. Either all these social media platforms look so similar. I don't know where I did it, you know? I either retweeted it or I reposted it. 1 second. This guy had it right. Let me find it. Yeah, right here. Oh, okay. Everybody, because there's no, it doesn't say anything in the video, you have to read it, okay? So I know some of you are at work or you're cleaning pools. So we have somebody who actually cleans pools. I'm in their head. I'm in their ears. Hello. Look at your screen really quick.
Down after you, smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And down after you, smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And down after you, smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And down after you, smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And down after you, smell like a sound. I'm lost in a crowd. And down after you.
Hey, real talk. I picture I know you're not doing this, but I wish you were. I just picture some of you dancing with me, right? Some of you got out of your bed like the guy from freaking Willy Wonka, the grandpa that hasn't moved in years, and just started dancing in your moo-moo around the house. You know what I mean? That's what I imagine happening, right? Or some of you are at work and you just started going like doing the Trump dance. Do, 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 do. But it's true. I stumbled upon this yesterday. I mean, I think the guy has it right. And by the way, shout out to the mozzarella sticks. Those look phenomenal. But weird that ICE is operating in dozens of states. But it only gets violent in the one where we just uncovered $1 billion fraud ring with probable links to the governor. Dude, I hate to say it, but yeah. Nobody think that's a little bit odd? That now with all this going on, we're not talking about how great the economy is doing. I understand affordability is still an issue, but the affordability is an issue because since Joey was in office, your inflation has spiked 20%. That's why things are more expensive by 20%. If you look at the graph, starting at 2020, like right at the end of 2020, gee, who left the administration at the end of 2020? Yeah. And then it stays stagnant for about a year till 2021. You want to know who was president in 2021? Do I have to remind you? It was Joey. Spiked 20%. That's why things are more expensive. These dodo birds can't figure it out. So that's why now we're not talking about, wow, how secure the border is. Trump's saving lives, right? Trump's doing geopolitics where he's making America great again by controlling the entire Western hemisphere, building up our military, record numbers. Did you know the military filled like their yearly quota in like 3 months, 90 days, because everybody wants to be, in the military under an alpha, how freaking great Donald Trump is. The GDP through the roof, bringing in $1 trillion deals, negotiating, not dealing with people's bull crap anymore. The guy, look, Trump's doing great. He's doing great. Am I greedy? Do I want a little bit extra? Yeah, of course I always want a little bit extra. But the left knows what they're doing. This is all bought and paid for because now all eyes are on this stupid crap. And by stupid crap, I mean the stuff that's going on in Minnesota. It's annoying. It is. Anyways, those mozzarella sticks look freaking fire. Where are we at here? Okay, so let's go back to this Ed Cressarian guy. He says, statement from Abel Lowe, attorney of Don Lemon. He says, Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years. That means he's untouchable. The guy's paid his debt to society. He's untouchable. You can't arrest him. And his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. So it was normal for a journalist to get a bunch of mob of people to go in and storm a church and accuse the pastor of doing something which he probably didn't do. Is that right? So 30 years of doing that? He's just always been doing that, I guess. So for 30 years, he's been maybe allegedly, possibly breaking the law. I mean, that's what his attorney's saying. I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions. His attorney says he's been doing journalism for 30 years. I think that's questionable. And I think all of you would think that's questionable. Look, I talk about the news too. I'm not a journalist. You know what I mean? Don was on CNN pushing a bunch of propaganda for 30 years. Now, I don't know if he's on CNN for 30 years, but clearly the dude's been biased for 30 years. I don't know if you're a journalist, bud. It sounds like you're an activist journalist. In the same way, there's people that are teachers, but they're activist teachers. Their goal is to indoctrinate your kid on lopping off his pee-pee or something like that. Now, this is not what they're teaching each and every day, but they'll interject it here and there. They'll put some breadcrumbs, right? They'll plant the seed. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth. Oh, that is rich. That is rich. Hold on. We're going to highlight that one for you, folks. Get in here. Get close to your screen because some of you are blind. It's so odd because I saw Nick Shirley, the one raising questions and doing some sort of investigation. I'm not saying it could have been done better. Nick Shirley, at least he got the conversation started. Now, to be fair, there was a local journalist, like actual journalists, that were doing investigations into what Nick Shirley's talked about a while ago. The local news stations, unfortunately, that nobody watches. You always, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll have like Channel 1 or Channel 2 on your TV. That's just your local, radio station, not radio, but a broadcasting station for your local area, right? Your mayor will appear on there. They'll do like your local city council. It's like your own little C-SPAN, but it's only for your area. They'll do stuff on there. Where's all the journal, investigative stuff nowadays? You remember how you would have the famous one with, Deep Throat? And no, I'm not using code name for what you call your husband or your wife, but lock in, get serious. Sorry. I crack myself up. I don't care if you laugh or not. It doesn't matter to me. I'm here to indulge myself. Some of you perked up. Some of you kind of perked up a little bit because you thought your name was being called because I'm in your ears. You thought your husband or wife was calling your name. Hey, Deep Throat. I mean, hey, Jim. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Karen. Hey, Mizzy. Right? Hey, Pat. Hey, Jeff. Oh, Brad, settle down. You're having too much fun. Oh, what the hell was I talking about? Holy crap. We go off on way too many tangents here, but that's what we're here for. Oh yeah, investigative journalism. Yeah. But all seriousness, you remember like Deep Throat with I always keep wanting to say Robert Redford, but he was the one that you guys in the chat, he was the one that played the role. Oh my God. Bob Woodsworth. Woodworth. You know, those guys actually did something, you know? You don't see that nowadays. You do, but it's you know, it's not like you're not seeing CNN really do it or Fox or all that stuff. You know, James O'Keefe, that's journalism. Let's give a shout out to that guy. That is journalism. That dude was right here. Matter of fact, I got to show you this. Okay, we're going back. Boop, 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 boop. Here's James O'Keefe. This is what journalism looks like, folks.
Have you ever heard of a guy named, no, his name is James O'Keefe. You heard of that?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
Could be better. Could be worse.
Could be worse.
What could be better?
How could he be better?
Just they'll be an asshole.
Is he an asshole?
I've heard people use an asshole.
Oh. Well, the thing is that I actually am James O'Keefe.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm not James O'Keefe.
No, you're not.
I am.
Really?
Yes.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run.
You know what they should have done? Is then cued the music once again with him back to running with the music.
To call an ambulance? No. Are you sure? Sure. We don't want you to get injured.
Yes, I'm injured.
That's not our intent.
I'm injured.
Do you need us to call for help?
No.
You call black people, quote, coons. You're a national forest. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hey, man.
He's attacking the camera.
Whoa. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was running.
That's a misdemeanor. You can't.
Bro, playing the Forrest Gump music is crazy.
I was serious. Stop.
Hey, Look, I know we're covering the Don Lemon stuff, but let's pause it for a second here. We got to go back. We really do. This deserves full screen. First of all. What?
You heard of that?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
So
Of him?
James literally has on clear glasses. Okay, they're not even like really framed glasses,
You
right?
heard of that?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
They're clear framed. It's as if he's not wearing glasses. The guy might as well not be wearing glasses. And he's asking about James O'Keefe.
Could be better. Could be worse.
Could be worse.
What could be better?
How could he be better?
Just they'll be an asshole.
Is he an asshole?
I've heard people use an asshole.
Oh. Well, the thing is that I actually.
And then he takes off the glasses and doesn't do anything. and then hold on. This is what journalism looks like. Because not only is he uncovering stuff, but it's comical. It's entertaining as hell. So he takes off clear glasses. And he's like, I'm actually James O'Keefe. No, you're not. No way.
I am James O'Keefe.
No, you're not.
So sincere. No, you're not. Because you took the glasses off now, you know what I mean? It's not James O'Keefe.
No, I'm not. I'm not James O'Keefe.
No, you're not.
Okay. Then this part, the Forrest Gump music is crazy, bro.
I am.
Really?
Yes.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run.
I decided to go for a little run. Get him, James! Get him! Get in there! For no particular reason, I decided to go for a run. But Jenny, I was running. God, dude, what a phenomenal video by James O'Keefe, by the way. Shout out to the social media crew over there. That's how it's done, boys. Damn. Anyways, that's that's journalism. Anybody seen Don do this? Anybody seen Don? Because Don...
You heard of that?
Don takes off his glasses. Where are we at here? No, hold on. There's... I'm Don Lemon. No, you're not. So here's Don. And here's Don. Which one is the real Don? Is it this Don? Is this the real one? Or is this the real one? Look closer. It's one of those side by sides. You got to figure out what's different. Is it the glasses? All righty. Well, there you have it. Don Lemon has been arrested, folks. And some of you are taking a shot of whiskey as we speak. And his lawyer says he's been doing journalism for 30 years. I didn't say that. Freaking his lawyer said that. There's no more. Oh, frig, dude. Okay, hold on a second. There's more here. We're not done with the Don story. There's more. It says this. I'm sorry for laughing so much, but I'm enjoying myself. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth. That's the part we just got done laughing our booties off over. And hold those in power accountable. Joey never got held accountable. Okay. But let's go on. This is the part that's hilarious. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing his work. Oh, I'm sure there isn't, as Democrats are being exposed for all this fraud left and right to the tune of billions of dollars. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's no more important time to have an activist out there with a name for himself to try and do a psyop of the stuff that's going on. Sure. Yeah, he's really uncovering a lot of stuff by going into a church, talking to a pastor. Boy, what journalism's going on there. Wow. Stop traffic. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the clip. Let me see if I can find the church clip. But I just want to get a sample of the great journalism that's been happening for 30 years. I just want to take a little peek under the hood. That's all. That's all. So let me see if there's the actual clip I could find here. Let's see. Everybody's. That ain't it. Hold on a second. Maybe this is it.
Happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them, and
this is 30 years of great journalism, you guys. Yeah.
And not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests. And for some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area, and what time.
Hand the God, if you just took AI, like artificial intelligence, you kept everybody here, but I'm just slightly changed the background, just slightly, right? So then it looks as much like a church, and you just kind of make it a little bit more Roman architecture. Wouldn't this kind of look like January 6th, right? Where you got guys right here. You can't see it now, but his hands are in his pockets, right? Just casually shooting the shit. That's what happened. By the way, I've seen the footage on January 6th. There's 40,000 hours of it. There's plenty of footage. They're just having a cigarette, smoking, hey, what's, mind you, the government's being overran, allegedly. Right? The country's being taken over by extremists. Yeah, I got the kid's birthday this weekend. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cold outside, huh? Just smoking, right? Yeah. What are you doing today, Jimmy Badoo? What's up with the wife and kids? Is Billy in college yet? Well, no, Bert. The guy's 4, but he's working. That's what we went through the footage together. Hand to God that I'm being a serious heart attack. That was what was going on. Look, get people hands in pocket here, right? This
rights movement was about. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, is to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing.
Dude, if anybody has a TikTok right now, if you want a video to go viral, take his words and put them over the January 6th. I kid you not. You should be remove the video, take Don Lemon's words and paste it over January 6th. Your video is going to go viral. You're welcome.
That's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortably and how harsh people are being treated on the streets, you have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable. This is.
You're welcome for that viral video idea. You're welcome. It's what I do. What I do. But that's the journalism. That's the great journalism of Don Lemon, folks. He will be written in the history books for that great journalism he is doing. Alrighty. Well, let's see what else we have here today. We do actually have some other news I want to get to. That's the Don Lemon stuff. I think we're beating a dead horse with it at this point. We have this. You guys are going to love this one. 1,000 companies were banned from the federal minority contracting program on Wednesday after they declined to provide records showing whether they were actually performing the work or simply keeping a cut while passing the contract to a larger company. The program is known as 8A. Last month, Kelly Loeffler, the head of the Small Business Administration, which issues 8A status, demanded that all firms provide bank statements and payroll records. It would have been a lot of work for the SBA to go through all those records, but the agency didn't need to look at many at all because a lot of fraudsters may have self-identified by choosing not to turn over records that would incriminate them. It's freaking genius. It really is. Right? Because everybody that's law-abiding citizens are like, yeah, sure, here's the records. Like, go through whatever you want. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I'll make a nice little presentation for you and everything. I'll send you a cup of coffee with it. I'll put a donut in the mail for you. Because when you have nothing to hide, yeah, sure, take it. Like, if you find something, let us know. Because maybe there's somebody that's like, maybe there's somebody in your organization that's committing fraud. You know what I mean? You don't want to get rid of them. They shouldn't be committing fraud. I kid you not. This is a true story, hand to God story. I was working for my dad's company. Well, my dad didn't own the company, but he worked for the company. And so I was interning for them over a summer. I was just doing like sales and inputting, like simple bookkeeping stuff. And, or at least, transactions and entries, nothing crazy. Cause I was in school to be an accountant. I was in college. And so I had a little extra time during lunch. So I wanted to like work on an assignment. So I grabbed a piece, I'm not even exaggerating, a piece of copy paper from the company to use for my assignment because I needed, I was doing math and doing all this other stuff. And dude, my dad unloaded on me. He unloaded on me. And the synopsis is, and obviously I'm making extremely PG. It was not PG at the time. He said, that is not your money. That is not your property. That is company property. So I went out and bought a whole ream of paper to get back to the company. And that's just how I was raised. I remember, and my mom knows this. She'll remember the story. Do you know that that yarn store, Joann's? I don't think it was called Joann's back in the day. I've shared this story on air before. This is what parenting looks like, by the way. And I'm not being a smart ass. It really is, because it messed me up. My mom, I was like 6, maybe 5 or 6 years old. And when you're 5 or 6, you're pretty low to the ground. Do you know what I mean? We'll go to full screen for a second. This is story time with Brad. Gather around, crisscross applesauce. And I'm going around. It's around Easter time. So they have, decorations around the place. And there's little like Easter baskets that were just there for decorations with the plastic Easter eggs you put candy in and stuff like that. Well, there's no candy in these, right? And I'm 5 or 6, nothing crazy. And so I grabbed one of the plastic Easter eggs and I was going around the store. And you know how when you're learning to sew and you got to like pin that stuff together and there's like the needles that go through, there were some of those on the ground, like under the shelf, and I would dig under the shelf and I'd put them in there. Thought I was doing a service so somebody didn't step on it, even though it was under the shelf. But I was also taking like, all like the people's hair that kind of aggregates together with the dust and becomes like a little tiny ball. Yeah, I was picking that stuff up. I was cleaning up the store and I was putting it inside the Easter egg and I was collecting all this stuff. Well, I put it in my pocket and I get out to the car. My mom's done purchasing everything and she sees this thing bulging. It ain't my package, folks. It ain't my package. Let me tell you, 5 years old, I wasn't rocking, okay? At 5 years old, I looked like this, okay? Little fat boy, this was me at a 5. You know, there ain't nothing there. And so it wasn't my package. Let me tell you. She goes, "What's that thing in your pants?" Now I should have said, "You know what it is, mommy." Oh God. So I said, "Oh, it's an egg." And she goes, "Where'd you get that at?" And I said, "I got it from the store." She goes, "You stole an egg." Dude, she goes, "You're going to walk in there and you're going to tell them what you did." Dude, I started bawling my eyes out. "Please don't make me. I didn't steal it. I was cleaning the store for them." And she walked my ass back in there to the counter. And I had to look at that lady and I had to tell her at like 5 or 6 what I did. And I was a thief. And I had to give back the plastic Easter egg. And when she opened it up, I was so traumatized. I'm turning 37 soon. I still remember this. This was 30 years ago. That's how traumatized I still am. And when she opened it up, you know, because there's dust and stuff, because, you know, dust is just people's skin follicles. It kind of poofed a little bit. And I really had that thing jam-packed. And all this hair and gross shit and these needles start falling out. And she goes, "It's okay." And I was like, "I'm so sorry." Never stole again. Never stole again in my life. I was messed up after that. That's probably why I'm so like straight edge. Like I follow the law. Oh my God. This is what going to a therapist feels like. You just kind of unravel all your shit on a bunch of people and you just feel better about yourself. All right, where were we? Okay. That was fun. Well, good news for California. Oh, this one's great. Who wants to work? Come on. Open up here. Thank you. Jeez. Another company is leaving California. And this one's a bank. So Wells Fargo is saying adios. And the reason why we have to say adios now is because there's a lot of Hispanics in California. You want to make sure you reach a greater population. You can speak both English and Spanish. Hola. Adios. Right? They're peacing out. They're leaving. And they're going to Florida. So I know it's kind of tiny. That's what she said. But in another devastating blow to California's once thriving economy, Wells Fargo, the historic bank founded in San Francisco. I mean, this thing was founded during the gold rush. That's how long this place has been in California. They're leaving. Shouldn't that tell you something? They've been here since the... Jesus Christ, Bruce. I'm sorry to use the Lord's name in vain. Bruce almost killed me with that dono. By the way, huge shout out. Bruce, geez, buddy, with $100 over on YouTube, it looks like. Thank you so much, man. Jeez, Louise with a hundo. And by the way, Karen, thank you so much. And you know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for your donation as well over through the Bulk Brad website. Thank you. I did see that. I didn't know, like, if you messed up. I didn't know if you put in a wrong number, but thank you so much. The same with you, Bruce. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you. You guys don't have to do that. Jeez. Like, what do I do for $100 here? Was the story worth 100? Was that, should I tell more of those? Me being a thief? That's crazy, man. Thank you. You guys keep the lights on here for me. Seriously, quite literally keep the lights on. It's funny because you guys keep the lights on here for the show. Hand to God, in my kitchen, I have 3 lights out. Doesn't that tell you that all the money goes back into the show that you guys put in? I don't spend a dime on putting the lights in my kitchen. I got 3 lights out. The only reason I haven't put the lights back up is because it's kind of nice. It gives a little bit of a dim mood, a little romantic sauce happening. You know, as I'm stirring the sauce and sipping on it. Thank you, though, dude. I appreciate that, man. You've always been very generous to the show. Thank you. As is everybody else, by the way. You know. Oh, thank you. It was a happy new job and happy birthday in February. My birthday's in March. Thank you, though. By the way, that's funny. Hold on a second. I got a clip here. Oh, God. Just because I want to laugh. We'll get back to that, I promise. I'm sorry. I know we're a new show, but here, indulge me a little bit. It's Friday. So You're going to see what I'm talking about here. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. So Karen goes, right? She says, no mistake. Happy new job and happy birthday in February. I go, well, my birthday's in March. I got to see if I can find this interview. Hold on a second. Oh God, don't do this to me right now. Hold on. I gotta show it to you guys. It is freaking good. And you'll know what I'm talking about. It is hilarious. The interview.
So you know how I...
Hold on. Everybody settle down. I got it right here.
Welcome back, everybody. Fox's hilarious comedy New Girl is keeping us laughing in its second season. A lot of that credit goes to the two gentlemen that I'm talking to this morning, Jess's roommates, Max Greenfield, who plays Schmidt, and Jake Johnson, who plays Nick. Good morning, gentlemen. I know there's a special episode that's airing tonight. Tell me all about it. I cannot wait.
Well, one word for you. Thanksgiving.
Oh, I like it already.
Thanksgiving.
Let me find it. All right, right here.
Talking big stuff.
So you pulled out all the stops for tonight. It's definitely going to be an incredible episode. So we're tuning in already.
It'll be an incredible experience.
It really will be.
Incredible experience.
Kelly, can I say something to the people of Nashville really fast?
You know what? Yes, ready and go now. Yes.
If you guys are hanging around on Beale Street,
that's
get
in Memphis.
home and watch.
That's in Memphis. We're in Nashville. And take two, we are on Broadway.
Connect. There we go. Reconnection successful, allegedly. I don't know what's going on with the frames right now. Let me see here. Oh my God.
Because these guys, they love their jobs and they'd like to keep them. So tune in on Fox.
Please watch it.
You guys are awesome.
That is freaking hilarious. That's what it reminded me of. Karen's like, for your birthday in February. Well, my birthday's March. You know, where he's like, hey, have you seen us down Beetle Street? Like, that's Memphis. We're in Nashville. Tune in at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're Eastern Time. He just kept messing up. Anyways, okay, well, you know, we're actually out of time, but I did a TikTok video on this article. OBS kind of kicked us for a second. Looks like somehow we TikTok video on this article. OBS kind of kicked us for a second. Looks like somehow we dropped frames, but Wells Fargo is getting out of Dodge, out of California, and they're going to South Florida. The issue with this, by the way, is because it has confirmed it's relocating specifically its wealth and investment management headquarters to West Palm Beach, Florida. Folks, it's taking 100 senior executives and leaders, shifting a new 50,000 square foot office. On TikTok, if you just read some of the comments, because you get to see what the lefties are saying on the Democrats, like, oh, what's the big deal? Wells Fargo's a bunch of frauds anyways. They suck, blah, blah, blah. It's like, folks, it pulled in $16 billion in revenue last year. That's not a big deal to them. This is how they think. This is how because they don't understand the long-term consequences of this, that you're losing a lot of tax revenue from this. And this is just the beginning. You slowly start pulling out. And by the way, if these are the wealth and investment management headquarters, you want to know why they're leaving is because their clients are leaving. That's why. That's one of the reasons. Look at the CEO. The CEO himself is personally relocating to Palm Beach County, bluntly stating that move positions the bank closer to clients, increasingly choosing Florida's low tax, pro-business paradise over California's hostile environment. That is the CEO saying that. By the way, shout out to the California Globe. If you want great news for California, you just got to check that out. They're actually coming out with a California Post. You know, there's a New York Post. There's also going to be a California Post. I don't know if they started up yet or not, but that's going to be a thing. All righty. Well, again, no shows next week. I'm starting my new job on Monday. I'm really excited, really nervous. My tummy's a little rumbly because I'm nervous. But it's an excited nervous because I just want to do well and pray for me. It's a great company, great people. And I'm really, really excited. So today's my last day being a teacher. That's crazy. That is weird. I've been doing it for a decade, man. A decade. I've taught 6th through 12th grade. Taught it all. Other than I can't do elementary school, but mostly 12th graders. So that's crazy. But today's my last day at work. It's gonna be bittersweet, man. It's gonna be bittersweet. Say goodbye to a lot of my. I get along with everybody at work. I just get along with everybody. I don't got beef with a single person. And yeah, that's the tough part. You know, you make really good friendships at work. And I'm being sincere. I mean, I don't think I stay quiet. I'm one of those. I was always taught by my dad, you know, keep your head down, shut up, and get your work done, and just be polite to everybody. That's how I've always been. So I like to listen to people. You know, I don't talk all that much. Put it this way, I'm being dead serious. My coworkers will know what I'm talking about. When I talk up in meetings, everybody's heads turn because I don't speak that much. When I do speak, it's usually something very important. So I like to listen because you can learn. Sometimes you just got to shut your mouth and learn from people. You know what I mean? I always assume whenever I'm talking to somebody, they know more about something than I do. I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to listen to you because you know what the heck you're talking about probably. And if you don't, I'll find out, but I ain't going to say nothing. But anywho, yeah, it's going to be bittersweet. Got to say goodbye to all my coworkers. My kids already know, or my students already know. You know what I mean by my kids, my students, they know. But that's it. Yeah, riding off in the sunset. I already packed up all my stuff. I just got to turn in all my IDs and everything like that after work. 2:30, I'll be technically unemployed. I'll be unemployed for 48 hours. It's probably the longest I've ever been unemployed, like I said, in my life. But alrighty, well, take care of yourselves. No show next week, but I might throw a TikTok in the evening or something, give you guys an update of what's going on in the news, or I might pre-schedule something that I record the night before. Who knows? You just be on the lookout. That's why you want to hit that notification button. You know, I plan on maybe doing some shorts and stuff like that because it's just really easy for me to crank out and get you guys the news. But anyways, thanks for spending this Friday with me. Hope all of you have a lovely weekend. The show is not ending. I will let you know if the show ends. And I agree, last show to give Brad a proper. I'm not. Stop it. People are really going to think we're ending. I don't know if we're ending yet. We got to find that out. That's what we'll find out after a week. And we're going to do what they want. All right, guys. God bless you. See ya in 7 days. Bye-bye.